what is good, Celtics Nation? Welcome back to the Bleed Green Podcast. It's been a while since me and Ricky have sat down, done one of these episodes, but we're back. There was a little bit of, Thanksgiving, the holidays, but we're back. We're officially back once a week. We're going to try to get an episode out every single week, but like I said, Ricky, it's been a while. The Celtics are 10-1 in their last 11 games. We've lost to Golden State in a game we should have won. We're up by, I believe, 19. I want to say we're up by 19 that game. Blew a big lead. They ended up beating us in OT. But since then, we've been on an absolute winning streak. Went into Sacramento, destroyed them, 144-19. The Clippers, 145-108. Went into the Lakers on Christmas, beat them. Then, crazy OT game versus, one of the best teams, the Detroit Pistons. 27-game losing streak. Almost lose to them. Crazy game. And then we just beat Toronto. How are you kind of feeling? Because I haven't heard from you in a little bit. How are you feeling about the team right now? The aspect of, kind of what's going on with the roster and, Sam Hauser's been in a slump. Are you panicking about him? What's your overall feeling right now over the past 11 games?
Well, Fubs, it feels good to be back, man. We had to do, the whole holiday thing. I got, many of you not know, I'm from Boston originally, or from outside of the city, and no longer live there. So had to do some visitation for the fam. Good to be back, though. I'm sure everyone in the live streams, I'm sure some people have been asking for me for my negative critiques, but man, it's good to be back. And my overall thought process on this team right now is I think we're exactly where we need to be. Is it everything perfect? No, but it's a season where there's a lot of games to be played, and so this isn't the NFL. This isn't a 16-game season. It's 80 plus games a year that these guys got to play, and with that's going to come inconsistencies. Very few times do you see great teams play 80 plus games almost to their expectations. So in an example like playing against a team like Detroit, a team you don't get up for, a team that quite frankly is terrible, and so you almost lose that game because are you not preparing? Are you not taking them seriously? And then we've seen games like going back to Christmas to the Lakers, where I feel like they got up for that game immensely, and I feel like they played to their capabilities against a quality opponent, against a team that we could potentially see in the finals or could potentially give us fits. In certain moments, they are a very, very good team. They're an experienced team. They know how to play and win in big games. And guys like Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, when he's healthy, and Jason Tatum have all kept up their end of the agreement by playing quality basketball for the majority of the season.
Yeah, we're already starting to see what we are with and without Kristaps Porzingis. Not only is Jalen's level of basketball go way up with Kristaps in the lineup, but I truly believe Kristaps is slowly becoming and is probably already that big X factor for our team. When he's in, we're such a much better basketball team. And at this point, he's not playing back-to-backs. I don't really care. I don't mind it. In the beginning of the season, I was like, man, just put him out there. But I'm starting to see what Joe Mazzulla is seeing. Listen, he is, believe it or not, he's a little bit injury prone. Want to keep him healthy? Yeah. Sure, don't play him back-to-backs. However, one thing I do want Joe Mazzulla to switch up is when we played Detroit, right? Jalen was out, and we were playing Toronto the next night. We played Kristaps, and we played Al Horford, and then rested him the next day. I would rather Joe go into that and, rest one guy and then play the other guy the next day. You know what I mean? So, for example, versus Detroit, play Al Horford, rest Porzingis, and then get Porzingis in versus Toronto. Instead of playing them both in one game and then resting them both the next game, hopefully, I just want Joe Mazzulla to, fix that because it just makes more sense on back-to-backs. But overall, dude, we've been so good. Other than that loss to Golden State, Ricky, we could be on an 11-game win streak. We are playing some of the best basketball I've seen as a Celtics fan in a long time.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get critical with a lot of these games because, aside from the occasional don't get up for the shit opponent game, I feel like they have played for the majority, if I'm not nitpicking, which I could, but I won't at this juncture just because we're playing some recap here, but I don't feel like they have underachieved really at any point over the stretch. Let's say from Thanksgiving, when they played Thanksgiving week when they played Giannis in the Bucks, up until this point now, where they have gone undefeated at home, which I think is going to be something that's not being talked about enough with our fans or with the people that I know ESPN's covering and I know it's getting coverage, but I mean, this is a team that could lock in home court for the entirety of the playoffs. And if you can have, I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated at home all season, but
you never know, though. I mean,
you lose, even if you lose like 7 or 8 games at home this season after everything's said and done, that's still fantastic. That's still fantastic. That just tells you that this team has the ability to play in a rowdy stadium, in a rowdy arena like the TD Garden, and that could be crucial for us when the time comes to actually put up or shut up.
Yeah, no, we've been so goddamn good at home. I hope it keeps up. I hope we keep doing this. Like, I want us to be able to go into TD Garden and just blow teams out, because obviously when the fan base is going crazy, the atmosphere is up, everything is going good. So, hey, hopefully we keep playing like that at home. But, I don't want everything to be sunshine and rainbows. I feel like there are still a little bit of areas we struggle. Turnovers, Ricky, and giving up offensive rebounds. I don't know if you've been tuning in some of these games, but, dude, we've been getting killed on the offensive glass. Detroit, the Raptors, they're destroying. Getting rebounds, getting second chance opportunities. Need to be better in that aspect.
They haven't had a dominant big man, and Kristaps has been banged up for the majority of this last, let's call it 35, 40-day stretch. So he's missed a lot of time. I'm not relying on him for primary offensive boarding, but let's face it, he's probably the best option that we have. I know we've seen Keita in spots getting minutes and performing in offensive rebounds. And I know we have Luke Kornet. I know everybody wants to get on my ass about the Luke Kornet game. And I'm going to tell you right now that I can't wait for him to go 0 for 7, and then you guys be back in the reality aspect of this goofy dude.
Don't you just want him to do good, though?
Sure, I want him to do good, but that doesn't mean, just because I want him to do good doesn't mean he's I mean, there's a reason why they're kind of messing around with this 5 spot, and I do think that there might be a move that could be made between now and then that could kind of fix that, because I do think that the boarding is going to be an trade. Yeah, in terms of a trade for a guy who could just come in spots. I mean, Kristaps is obviously banged up. Right now, the most important thing is that he's available for the postseason. I know we're not even 40 games into the season and we want to start talking about postseason, but let's face facts. The guy's banged up already. It doesn't get easier on these guys physically as the season goes. And so you're going to have hiccups. Really, the name of the game is to miss out on anything so drastic that you're going to be either out for a season or be out for multiple weeks and even months. So really to minimize it. And I'm sure that a lot of his absences are just more precautionary than it is, a major injury to him. Given that his history, they're probably, and given how stacked this team is, they're like, hey, we really don't need this guy to win these games. We can, we'd rather rest him and have him ready for when it really matters. But still, you saw what a guy like Bam Adebayo did to a Kristaps Porzingis. And so that's something that we have to ask ourselves. It's like, is Luke Kornet going to go up against Bam Adebayo? No, he's going to get smoked by Bam Adebayo. Kristaps Porzingis isn't even a good matchup against Bam Adebayo. And, Al Horford is an aging player, and there's only so much he can do against a player like that. So are we going to go get a big body guy that can kind of primary on the offensive glass, and B, maybe someone who's a better defender in the low post to guard a guy like Bam Adebayo?
Yeah, we'll get into,
or even Giannis.
We'll get into some names here in a little bit, maybe like 10 minutes, talk about some guys that, have been rumored the Celtics might go out and get. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to go through some players right now, give you some stats, and let's just see the vibe right now and see how these guys are going. So over the last week or so, maybe like 2-3 weeks, Ricky, Sam Hauser has went from like 44% shooting from 3, and it's really been bad over the last couple of weeks. He's starting to get back into, that slump. But since that, Payton Pritchard has stepped up. Payton Pritchard's now stepping up. It's like, when these guys start playing great together, dude, I'm going to love this bench. But it seems like they can't find their their rhythm together. Hoping for
Right.
the playoffs that happens. But obviously, we're not panicking on Sam Hauser yet. He's still
No.
having a really good season. Man's averaging 8.5 points, 3.5 rebounds. His shooting splits are still really good. Let's see, he's shooting 44% on the field and still 41% from three on the season. So, hey, shout out to Sam Hauser. Drew Holiday, whoa. Drew Holiday shooting 42% from three this season?
Yeah, he's efficient, man. He's
Whoa.
him and Derek White, man. That backcourt is so efficient, both on both sides of the ball. It really is. I want to say might, but I almost feel like I'm insulting them by saying that they might be the best backcourt in the NBA. I feel like it's not even really much of a conversation to me. That could be my bias.
Two-way?
Yeah, in terms of playing both sides of the basketball, an all-around backcourt, defense, offense, that whole picture. I mean, I don't know who you're thinking of when I bring up this conversation, but I just don't see anybody doing it better than those two right now.
No, when you talk about defense and all-around efficiency, I mean, you got they're up there. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I would say
they're
the
great ones, but
I'm sure there is
Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, like
sure. They're probably better scoring. Maybe you can make the argument of the best scoring backcourt in the NBA. I mean, I'm getting into semantics here, but the thing that to me that really shows on the court in watching these games is how efficient those two players have been all season long. And I didn't even mention him earlier when I was talking about him putting up his end of the bargain. My bad, Drew. This guy is doing all and then some as well. I mean, it's so hard. This team has so many good players that are contributing. It's hard to mention them all. Some teams only can mention one or two guys, and we literally have 4 guys, 5 guys that we can rattle off, and saying that they are pivotal and they are essential on this team, and that they would be a key player on almost any other team in this league.
100%.
So it's really just this is again why it's championship or bust. This team has to go to the finals. If they don't, it's a failure. It's a failure.
It really is. Brad put together such a good, well-balanced, great defensive, but also extremely dynamic offensive team as well. And, a lot of people like to, criticize the Celtics. I'm not saying Celtics fans in particular, but people outside the Celtics fan base love to come at the Celtics' depth, their bench. But what I would say to them is, bro, who's talking about a bench when you have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Derek White? And the thing is, you're always going to have at least 2 of those guys on the floor, if not 3. It's who needs a good bench when you have...
What else are you going to talk about, Fubs, if you want to speak on it negatively? You're going to talk about their backcourt. You're going to talk about their ability to spread the floor. You're going to talk about their ability to shoot threes. You're going to talk about their ability to go to the basket and score when they choose to, because let's face it, Joe Mazzulla, that's a priority B to that guy, which he still hasn't figured that whole thing out. And that's, to me, I think that he's their biggest Achilles heel. I know a lot of people are going to go crazy me saying this, but I think that Joe Mazzulla can be a great coach. I don't think he is currently a great coach. I think he's a good coach coaching great players. And I think that is the difference. Now, do I think that you need a great coach to win a championship? Hell no. Ty Lue won a championship. No disrespect to Ty Lue, but he won the championship because he had greatness like LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. So, I put him in that same category where it's like, if your guys want to take you to the next level, you will be a good coach with great players. So he, to me, more so than depth, is, I think, our most glaring problem, because I feel like he doesn't know how to zig when everybody else is zagging. He is so focused on these metrics and these statistics that he doesn't know how to pivot and be able to adjust in the games in the way like like a Miami Heat team will, or like the way Denver does. He doesn't pivot in that way like some of these great coaches, like Spo does, like some of these great coaches do. So that's my issue with this team. And I think that in the scale of issues, it's so minimal. It's so minuscule. It's like, is it really a problem though? Like, oh my God, you talk about first world problems. That's literally what the Celtics have. It's first world problems. They got a team that doesn't really have a 7th or 8th option. Oh my God, fan the alarms. We don't have a guy to back up Al Horford. if Porzingis is out for a night. And then the other thing is, we got, a guy that's coaching a damn near 60. This team's gonna win 60 games with Joe Mazzulla. So again, first world problems.
Yo, yeah, and you know what? I do like Joe Mazzulla, and I know you do too. Like you said, he's a fine coach. He's not a great coach. He's fine. He's still. I got
a love hate relationship with Joe.
It's only his second year in the NBA. It takes coaches a long time to get up there, but listen, this is where I want to give credit again. And I know we have on the channel before, but give credit to Brad Stevens because there is a sense of familiarity with Joe Mazzulla here at the team. Obviously, if you would have brought in a new head coach this offseason, Jalen and Jason would have went from Brad Stevens to Ime Udoka to Joe Mazzulla to XYZ whoever's next. So they're building chemistry. They're building just team chemistry here with this coach, having him as their coach. But not only did Brad Stevens, give them that, right? But he also said, okay, we're going to stick with Joe Mazzulla. We know what he wants to do. And, Ricky, what does he like to do? Shoot threes. He wants the team to shoot threes. So let's go out there and add guys who not only can do it Rob Williams and Marcus Smart and Brogdon did last year, but can also shoot the three ball. Kristaps Porzingis for Rob Williams. Rob here, Kristaps here in terms of three-point shooting. Marcus Smart here, Drew Holiday here in terms of three-point shooting, and that's what we've seen. So Brad Stevens said, listen, we have Joe, we're going to keep Joe, I'm going to get players to fit his system, and, we're still shooting. We're a top 10 three-point shooting team.
And these guys all do so much more than that. Exactly. Porzingis' ability to score in the paint is tier one. Drew Holiday's touch around the basket when he wants to is tier one. Yeah. Jaylen Brown is tier one at the rim when he wants to be. And Jason Tatum, anytime he wants to go to the rim and get two, he can do it against any defender in the league. Yeah. He is top 3 offensive talent in the NBA. My issue again is that we just don't. We got all these great ingredients, Fubs. We're a 5-star chef. We have all these great ingredients, but we're only pulling stuff out of the pantry. We're not pulling stuff out of the fridge. Yeah. So why aren't we using all the ingredients? Why can't I have salt and pepper? Why do I just gotta have pepper? You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Sometimes we are a little bit one-dimensional, but I will say over the past week or so, I want to say when Kristaps plays, he gets in the post. We've seen, I believe it was versus the Pistons, and I want to say the Kings. They were getting him a lot into the paint, posting him up on smaller guards. We'd switch him on to, De'Aaron Fox or Malik Monk, and specifically versus, I believe, Detroit, we were getting him switched onto Jay Ivey. It was him and Jay Ivey, probably like 8-9 times in that game. We would feed him at the post, and he'd work. He'd shoot over him easily. So we have started to implement that back into our system, which is huge. I want to see that on a consistent basis. I mean, over the last 3 games, Porzingis has played 2 of them, led us in scoring in both of them. He had 28 points versus LA, 35 points versus Detroit. When you talk about a team with, all right, would you say Derek White can put up 30 on any given night? Like any night. I'm not saying every night, but could he put a 30 ball out there?
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, Derek White can put up 30.
Porzingis could put up 30.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Jalen could put up 30. Jason could put up 30.
Yeah, absolutely. They do.
Drew maybe not, but he can still put up 20 to 25. He's right there.
I mean, I think Drew, I think ultimately he's more like the guy scores 18 to 22 points. That's like a really good game for Drew because he's not really he's a pass first type of player. But yeah, I mean, he has.
As a fifth option, we said he can drop 25 points a game. Like, I mean, that's incredible. So
put it this way: all these players on our team can drop 22 to 25 on any given night, no questions asked. If given the opportunity to, they all have the skill set to do it against some of the better defenders in the league, for sure. That I could say with confidence. And then you could easily say 3 out of our 5 starters can drop a 30 piece, and they have. All these, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, and Jason Tatum have dropped consistent 30 pieces throughout the season. Yeah.
And then from there, you go to the bench. Sam Hauser was lights out for maybe a month and a half there. 44% from threes. Came back to earth, but back to earth for him is 41%. I mean, amazing. Right. We have 3 guys shooting above 40% from 3. Can you guess the 3? I think we've already mentioned 2 of them.
Yeah. Okay, so you already mentioned Drew.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the percentage?
Over 40%.
So it would be Drew. It'd be Hauser. He's what, 42. And then
One more.
I'll go Derek White.
Derek White, that's
Yeah.
it. That's it. And
Okay.
then we have Al Horford at 38, Peyton Pritchard at 38, Jalen at 35, and then Porzingis and Tatum are both at 34 right now. So, not bad. Not bad.
No,
at all.
that's
I mean,
not bad.
we know Jason, Jalen, and Kristaps can all shoot upper echelon as well, 37%. So, maybe they're not even at their peak yet in terms of shooting that three ball. But then, like we said, let's go back to the bench here. I think Sam Howell's is okay. Yes, he's been in a slump over the past, 2-3 weeks maybe. That will fix itself. He'll get back into rhythm. We know what he can do. Al Horford, Mr. Reliable. You can count on him to do anything, man. He has some big games. He has some, games where he doesn't do much, but he's always going to be reliable. Love that for Big Al. Peyton Pritchard, someone we were slightly panicking about early in the season. Wasn't too crazy. But we knew that he was going to step up, and he has, 38% from three. I think in the first 3 weeks of the season, he was at like 22% from three. So he's playing a lot better. And then we get into the interesting position of center. Luke Cornett and Neemias Queta. I feel like Neemias has been so good getting offensive rebounds over the past however many games Luke Cornett was out. Neemias has been amazing. Averaging 2.5 offensive rebounds per game. 5.5 rebounds per game. I mean, he's just been really reliable. And then Luke Cornett's coming off a big game versus Toronto. I think he had like 20 points. I believe he had 20 points and 8 rebounds, 5 offensive, 3 blocks. Luke Cornett did have a good game. I know you're not the biggest Luke Cornett fan in the world, but sometimes he comes out and gives you a nice little game. But how are you feeling overall about the team? Do you think there's any area that you're like, okay, we need to fix this right now, or are you more like, I think we're okay?
I mean, we're just getting too careless with the basketball, and then just better shot selection. I think we just get so in the commitment. Live or die by the three. I hate that. Like that mentality. Like, they live and die by the three. It's like, but why? Why do you have to live and die by the three? It's not like it's not like they're forcing you to take the three. They might be putting you in a position where that's the most available shot to you, but like, these guys are professionals. They can go get a two whenever they want to go get a two. I think it's just laziness. I think it's just a lazy way to say, like, we don't want to adjust. We don't want to we don't think that this is broken, so we're not going to try to fix it. So better shot selection would certainly be probably my 1B, and then I would say my 1A would be controlling, better ball control, slowing down. I think sometimes they get too much up tempo, and then less turnovers. Yeah.
Other than that, I would just say the rebounding. I feel like at times we give up a ton of offensive rebounds. It's only specific games. Like every once in a while, we'll have a good game where we can rebound the ball pretty well. But there's some games where we just get absolutely torched on the rebounds. I think versus the Pistons, I'll look at it real quickly because I know that game they just had a field day. They were getting so many second chance opportunities. Let me check it real quick. But overall, I think we've been good. Like in terms of everything, like you said, those 2 points. And then the rebounding. Other than that, I feel like we've been such a complete team.
Fubs, I mean, we're at this rate, we might win 70 games. I don't think, for the record, as the season goes and they start locking up seeding, I don't foresee them doing that. But right now we have 25 wins, so we're not even at the halfway point. So that's 50 games right there, plus whatever else we have between now and the halfway point. So that's going to be, you're looking at between like 60, 65 games. And that's me thinking that they're going to lose games that maybe they shouldn't. So right now, I was saying it was going to be 62-20. I'm thinking more like 65-17, which would be bananas. Bananas if they did that. But they're on pace to do even better. They're on pace to do even better than that, though.
Yeah, but
I think I'm underselling it.
It doesn't. We have to take it into the playoffs because we can win 70 games and
of course
shit the bed in the playoffs. So it's like I don't really care about the record. Obviously, we want the 1 seed. But man, yeah, I agree. The way we're looking right now, is almost unstoppable. I mean,
no matter what you say, Fubs, with a team like this, you're gonna come off nitpicky. You're picking at things that just, oh my god, like, let's fucking make a big deal. Sorry for cussing. Let's make a big deal about this whole thing, and it's realistically it's not, because at the end of the day it's like, look how many games they're winning, look at the way they're winning games, they're beating good teams, aside from, oh no, they didn't win the stupid midseason tournament that I never gave a crap about anyway, yeah, man, the amount of people that came up to me and was talking shit to me afterwards about this stupid tournament is so bananas to me, that you actually thought that this wasn't just a gift that the league gave LeBron James to go try to win this stupid thing so they can say he won the very first thing. And, this is a stamp on his legacy. And look, I don't want to talk about too much about the in-season tournament. I do think in 10 years it could be something that...
It was fun to watch.
It could be something meaningful. It was fun. So it was the product entertaining? Yes, but the product is NBA basketball. The product is you're watching the game anyway. Fubs, you watch all the games. Yeah. Those games, aside from the finals, went towards the regular season. So you were going to watch those games anyway. It didn't matter to a diehard fan. You were going to watch those games anyway. So, okay, were they entertaining? Sure. But that was just like watching regular season basketball for you, right? So this whole thing, it wasn't long enough and it wasn't challenging enough. And could they fix it to make it that way? And in 5 years, could it be like something significant where people actually it matters? Sure, 100%. But this season, this was like trial and error. I mean, you got Indiana, who is a flash in the pan. How they doing now? Flash in the pan. I know they're good.
14.
Halliburton is a fine player, but Fubs, you had two 6 seeds, a 6 seed and a 5 seed play in this final thing, like the mid-season tournament. Like, if that was the NBA Finals,
probably they're both 8 seeds.
That was the finals. Nobody would care. Nobody would watch it. Who's watching a 7-game series of LeBron versus Halliburton? I'm sorry. Nobody cares, aside from people from Indiana and people from LA who are fans. Nobody else would care about that product. That product would be garbage in an NBA Finals. Lakers, Celtics it's sexy. It has some appeal to it. So even if you're a lesser seed, you can sell that because there's rivalry, there's history, there's legacy, there's all these great players that play for these teams. There's nothing about Indiana. Sorry, I know it's like an important state for basketball, but there's nothing about that team that brings appeal to anything other than a midseason tournament. It just doesn't. So you didn't have Milwaukee in it. You didn't have the Suns in it. You didn't have Denver in it. Denver didn't even qualify. They didn't care. They're like, Jokic is like, I don't want to do this stupid thing. Again, I don't want to get too far into this tournament. I do think it could eventually be it, but you say it's entertainment, but it went towards the regular season. It was entertainment anyway. You were going to watch the games anyway.
No, I get it. Like you said, I think it is something that could be big time in the future, and I did like it this year. I thought, the courts were interesting. It gave it a different
courts were garbage.
Vibe. You don't like the courts? I mean, I thought they weren't safe
courts
to
were
play
garbage
on at times. Jalen almost got hurt, but
courts were
I
garbage.
made it different. All right,
they're eyesores. Yes, Pops. I'm not saying you don't entitled to your opinion. I'm just telling you that I thought they sucked. I thought the courts were stupid. You could have just put a logo in the center of the court, kept the courts the same, and put a logo in the center, and that would have been fine. But whatever. Like I said, I'm not. I understand it. It did something, and of course LeBron is praising Adam Silver for this thing. Shocker. Oh yeah, he's a genius. Yeah, I wonder why you say that, LeBron. I wonder why Adam Silver's a genius to your first appearance in the finals. Yeah, extra bread. And then I'm telling you, this thing in 10 years is going to be a big deal, and people are going to be like, LeBron, first ever midseason tournament championship, and they're going to be like, they're going to be talking about it as an accolade. But realistically, this season, it was what it was. It was just a trial. It's fine. Like it was regular season basketball, but I don't know, man. I just couldn't get excited about it. I just think that ultimately it was just a test And I think that the product needs to be longer. I think there needs to be more games to qualify. I think there needs to be more teams involved in the bracket.
Yeah.
And I would like the stakes to involve playoff implications. I think that would be
interesting. I don't know how they would do it, but it would be interesting.
You should be an automatic lock. You should be automatic lock
if you playoffs.
100%. Like even if a team like Detroit won it.
Dude.
No, I'm serious.
All right, how about like an automatic play-in? Because a playoff is crazy.
No, automatic playoff.
That's
automatic
insane.
Playoff.
I mean, it would give them a lot to play for, I guess.
Okay, but look at what you're doing right now.
Are you saying 8 seed?
Yeah. So I think ultimately it could be something like if you like, okay, say Boston won the tournament. Well, Boston would have had won enough games that they would have been a 1 seed anyway. But like, say you're a team that would have missed the playoffs, or you would have missed the playoffs if you didn't play it. So now you get the 8 seed because you won the tournament. So you didn't have to win enough games to qualify. Now, I guess it would be kind of funky because like then what would happen
if Detroit won it, they would just rest their players the rest of the season.
Right. So what would have to happen is again, the tournament would have to be longer. The games would have to go further into the season, and it would have to end with there to be 10 to 15 games to 20 games left of the season. So then that way guys aren't tanking for 4 months because they're already locking into place. I'm not saying it's a perfect system, but I'm just saying if you did because Fubs, you played 7 games to win a championship.
Yeah,
make it make sense.
It's on its first stages.
You won 7 or 8 games to win a midseason tournament. That doesn't even make sense. You have to play a 7-game series just to get through 1 round. If you don't win it in 4, you know what I mean. So it's crazy.
We're not the NBA PA, so don't take anything we're saying to heart. We're just
listen. You can write my check. My check should be sent in the mail. I'll be happy to give any advice to the NBA PA. I guarantee you, in 5 years, I would make that thing worth watching.
All right, hey, you know what? Let's see if Ricky can make it happen. But let's get back into Celtics basketball. Ricky, over our next 5 games, we have 1 home game. Okay, we face San Antonio in San Antonio. We got the Thunder in OKC, and then we take on Utah in Boston. Do you think the Celtics remain undefeated at home versus Utah? Okay, team, not the best.
Yeah, they should beat them. How are we doing with health? I know guys are banged up.
Well, I think we're good. I think Kristaps Porzingis is only out for precautionary reasons, like you said before. If you remember, 3 weeks ago, he banged up his left calf, I want to say.
Well, there's an ankle thing with Tatum, too, ain't it?
He didn't play yesterday, but he played the game before. I think it's, again, precautionary. They wanted to rest guys on back-to-backs. I think you're going to see that for the rest of the season. I think you're going to see JB play back-to-back and then Jason play the other back-to-back. I think it's going to be all year just to keep these guys healthy.
So, I mean, I don't see a team like the Jazz giving us any problems. I mean, they're a below 500 team. They're not very good. They don't really have a cohesive system. They don't really do anything for me as far as a team that I feel like could give us fits. Now, is this like a Detroit Pistons situation where they just don't get up for the game? Sure.
Could be.
We are
coming off 2 days of rest. So we play the 2nd, have the 3rd and 4th off, and then play the 5th. So we're going to have a couple of days break. Should be fully healthy. Should have everyone in there. But then Indiana, we play the next day. So we play Friday, Utah, and then Indiana on Saturday. So don't know if there's going to be resting there.
Well, look at it like this, Fubs. We're already a game and a half up on everybody else in the East. And so I think they're going to continue to build upon that. Start watching them. If they can get to 3 to 3.5 to 4 games up on this team, you're going to start to see a lot of changes in that roster to get this team ready for the postseason. Even if there's 30 games left to play, I'm telling you, because this team isn't going. Yes. Okay. Yes. Because they're already doing it now. Like you said, you already talked about what they're doing on the back-to-backs, and that's only when they're up 1.5 games. I think if we can get to the point now, they're on a 5-game winning streak, so they get up to the point where they're starting to go up 3 to 4 games on the Bucks or to the Sixers, whoever they're behind at the number 2. I know the Bucks is number 2, but I don't think the Sixers are too far behind that. Oh no, they're 1.5 games. they're 1.5 games on that too. So okay, so it'll probably be a pretty close race between Milwaukee and Boston. But I think if we start to get that lead, you might see some coasting that might be going on over the last like 25 games or so of the season. I do think that.
And like more resting out of players, more guys sitting out. Maybe. I think it's already starting to happen with back.
Bring guys up like J.D. Davison and some of these other cats to come out here. And
I do want to see them, man, but I don't know. I don't think Jordan Walsh is ready. He's been snapping in the G League, but we'll see what happens if they do get brought up. But with that being said, Ricky, we are approaching the trade deadline. This will be the last thing we really talk about before we head off here. Now, there's been a lot of rumors, and we actually had a trade today, if you saw it. Toronto Raptors trade OG Anunoby to the New York Knicks. In return, the Raptors get RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, and a second-round pick. Interesting.
I would have loved Emmanuel Quick. I love that dude so much. You know what? Actually, I love this trade because that dude gets the hell out of New York. I'm tired of dealing with his ass every time we. That's fine. I take that in Toronto. I don't gotta worry about Toronto like I gotta worry about the Knicks. Not that the Knicks are like a threat in the postseason, but
no. I do think Knicks. OG's a good player though. He fits them really well. 3 and D guy, shoots 40, 39, 37% from 3. Really good shooter, plays really good defense, fits in with Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle really well. The two-man game between those guys is going to be insane. And basically, Toronto side, it looks like they're trying to enter what seems to be a rebuild around Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Scotty. Probably going to ship out Pascal Siakam. But with that being said...
That's long overdue.
Yeah, it is. But with that being said, Ricky, do the Celtics need to make a move?
Need? No. Should? Yes. For sure.
And what do you think that is? Because obviously a lot of people say backup big, Kelly Olynyk, Isaiah Stewart. Those have been the two names floating around. But also Isaiah Stewart's been, not Isaiah Stewart. Alex Caruso's been floating around there. Maybe get him. What do you think is the biggest, maybe not must need, but biggest need or could be?
Yeah, I mean, just a guy that can prioritize getting on the glass. I mean, I think that's ultimately what we need.
You don't trust Neemias in that spot?
No, I do, but he's not. But it's kind of like one of those things where I feel like Cornette's always going to be the primary option over Neemias. Not that I don't think Neemias is a better player, because I do, but I still kind of feel like you get Cornette in the spots that maybe I feel like Neemias should be in. And if you get somebody more notable that you've acquired, he might become that go-to guy that Luke Cornette is now. Because Luke Cornette really is a guy that comes in, especially if Porzingis isn't playing, you can almost bank on it that he's going to play. And he's going to have an extensive role on the team. So if they thought Neemias was that guy, maybe they do, and they're just trying to ramp him up to that point. But I feel like at this point in the season, we might have seen him more. And I know we're seeing him in flashes and we're seeing him in certain spots. And I like that. And I would like to see him get more minutes regularly than Luke Cornette, because I think he's a better big than Luke Cornette. And this is no longer Luke Cornette slander. I'm just comparing two players at this point, and I think his skill set matches more with what Boston's looking for in that defensive category, in that rebounding category. And he's kind of nice around the rim too. He's not clumpy or clumsy is the best word I can, kind of like what Taco Fall wasn't, where he was kind of clunking around out there, kind of what Luke Cornette is now. He's kind of clumsy and he's just kind of off balance. I'm just saying, like, and I feel like Neemias is a little bit more smooth. You know what I mean? He's a little bit more fluent. He kind of flows a little bit better. And obviously he's not anything spectacular. But if they could acquire something, maybe in lieu of a second round pick and maybe some developmental I don't need him to be a star. I don't even need him to be better than Horford. I just kind of want a guy that's like, hey, I need somebody who can block and I need somebody who can get rebounds. That's all. I need JaVale McGee. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just need
Dwight Howard. Because he's literally that. He'll give you a block, he'll give you a rebound, but he's not doing much else.
He's just, I don't know, man. I don't even want to say he's old, because I don't even know like what his age compares. I don't know like ages for all these guys. So like, I don't know like what his age compares. I just mentioned JaVale McGee. So like, I don't even know what the age comparison is to a JaVale McGee, but but like, I don't know. He's just all on Twitter, and he doesn't even play in the States anymore.
Well, I'll tell you what. I personally, if you want a rebounder, I would go Neemias. I would play Neemias. However,
listen, if they want to do that, I'm okay with. I'll co-sign. I'll co-sign for it. I don't disagree with that. But the question is, should we trade, or is it a must? So to answer your question, Fubs, no, it's not a must.
It's not a
this
must,
team
but
is.
It could be a need.
Well, barring health, could be. You know,
So,
it's hard because it's like you gotta plan for these. You need redundancies.
yeah.
You know, it's like you need backup plans because unfortunately shit happens. So it's like, you know, we don't want this to happen, but it could. And like, what are we gonna do when it happens? You know, it's like the same reason why I don't want to talk about football, make the football compare, but this is why the guys have backup quarterbacks. It's because guys get hurt, and you need a backup plan. You need somebody. We need a Joe Flacco, right? That's a good comparison. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think there's the center version of Joe Flacco out there in free agency, unless Dwight Howard. It might be Dwight Howard. So look, if they want to do it, fine. If they don't, and they don't, I don't want there to be anything forced. Put it that, and I don't think Brad will. Like if Brad goes into it like, guys, this is what we got, and then they just go and make like an acquisition off some guy who got cut post the trade deadline or whatever, like they did last year with what's his name, the center they picked up, Mike Muscala. Yes,
I wish we had him right now. He would be a great fit.
So
shooting the 3-ball, man.
So like a Mike Muscala type of acquisition.
No, that's what's going around rumors right now. Kelly Olynyk, a guy who can shoot the 3-ball. It's not that rebounder that you want specifically. But we talked earlier about Brad Stevens bringing in guys that will. What's your face doing that for?
Because I'm trying to see who would piss me off less, Luke Cornett or Kelly Olynyk, the clinic. I think Olynyk just pisses me off because we drafted him when Giannis was still on the board.
Yeah. But like we said before, Brad Stevens wants to bring in players that fit into Joe Mazzulla's system. Kelly Olynyk.
Right.
Kelly Olynyk spreads the floor, shoots a 3. Like I said, he's not that rebounder that you might want, but he fits everywhere else. He's kind of like an Al Horford, can stretch the floor a little bit. You know, he's just shoot the 3-ball. That's what he can do. So I've seen that name up in the air. And then you have an Isaiah Stewart who...
Sorry, wrong pipe. My bad.
You're good. But Isaiah Stewart is interesting to me. He's on the Pistons. I think he's injured right now, but he is tough. He's kind of like a Marcus Morris type player. He's tough, can shoot a little bit, can block.
That's another name. I know. But that's another name you just mentioned too, Mook. I would take... I know there's not like a need for a power forward, but a scoring option, if I could get him for cheap or if I could get him in the buyout market, I'm 100%. If I'm Brad, I'm 100% doing that. Yeah. But Stewart, I know he's got a little bit of an attitude issue, but winning fixes that for a lot of these guys. You come in, you put yourself in a winning environment, and they explain to you, listen, dude, you want to win? This is how you're going to do it. This is the role you're going to play. And a lot of those guys will come on board, if not just for the season, just to put it all together. So I really don't think Brad is going to make a trade that's going to put the chemistry of the team at risk.
I don't think anyone that should get traded outside of O'Shea Brissett, Banton, Lamar Stevens, Stephen McCallum, J. Davidson. Mm-hmm. I feel like Peyton Pritchard, Sam Horford, all our starters should be here. They stay. Keep
7 guys, top 7.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else should be traded. I don't think Alex Caruso's...
top 8? Top 8 guys. Okay, top 8. You got it. Well, but that's the thing, though. If you're getting a guy that's just coming in spots, giving 8 minutes, 7 minutes here, there, filling that Luke Cornett role on a more consistent level, that shouldn't cost you anything more than a low second, or like some potential guys out of Maine that could develop into something for them, or like a what's his name?
I would even trade a first-round pick. We don't need first-round picks right now. We don't.
Yeah, but we don't want to give away first-round picks like it's candy, Fubs. We want to utilize that.
I would give away a first for Isaiah Stewart because, listen, our goal is a championship. We don't need to draft a guy to develop him. We're gonna trade.
Okay, fine. You want to give a first-round pick for Isaiah Stewart? I got no problem with that.
Yeah,
but
I would do it.
But a caliber player like that too, if there's no buy-in, then there's no way that system works.
Yeah, but that's sometimes that's a risk you got to take. Hopefully it would work. I like Isaiah Stewart because he reminds me of Neemias, but he can shoot the 3 ball. He's a dog. He's a dog.
Yeah,
he wants to win. He wants to win every single possession. He wants to get blocked. He wants to do everything. No. Sometimes he takes some bad shots, but he can shoot the 3 ball, which spaces the floor even more.
And it's a contract that a team like this can take on, given the amount of big money players we have on this team already.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we have a trade exception as well, I believe. But I think there are some options we could get. I would say guard is off the table. I think Brad likes Payton Pritchard. I think he likes Drew, Derek, Jalen. I don't think adding a guard to this team would do anything besides logjam us again like last year. I don't think getting guards on the table. I really don't. I know we talked about Alex Caruso before. I don't think that's something I would...
You'd have to move on from one of the rotational pieces on the bench to go get a guy like Caruso.
I think
why would you? Why would you want to do that? Because everything's working. So, honestly, dude, the buyout market's probably going to be the direction he's going to go in anyway.
And it might, the guy, whoever we sign, he might not even play. Because, quite frankly, I like O'Shea Brissett. The man actually is playing pretty well. Like, I like our bench. Whoever we sign, if we sign anyone, they're probably not going to play at all. It's going to be
Listen, I think the players on the team work. I think they just got to clean up some things. They just got to clean up some shit on the court, and I think they'll be fine.
Dude, you know what's crazy is when you look at our bench right now, just look at, O'Shea Brissett, Lamar Stevens, and Svi Mykhailiuk. Those guys, in general, have started games. Like, Lamar Stevens started half the year last year for the Cavaliers. Svi Mykhailiuk has started probably 20 or more games in his career. O'Shea Brissett, I think, started an entire season for the Indiana Pacers. We have legitimate starters off the bench who don't play.
No, I know.
Brad Stevens, man. Brad Stevens, you did a really good job with this team.
They all invested. They're invested in the chip. So.
Yep. And hopefully this is the year. I mean, pretty good episode. We do have some games coming up here, Ricky. Predict the next couple of games here.
I'll be back on a more regular basis. For those who thought y'all got rid of me, sorry to disappoint you. And those who missed me, I'm back.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. Podcast hopefully every single week. Post game episodes coming probably twice a week maybe.
Now that the holidays are over and all this seeing family crazy stuff is over behind me, I can.
Maybe this is just a thought. This might not happen, but maybe me and Ricky do like 20-minute podcasts during the playoffs twice a week.
We might have to do that.
Some live shows in the playoffs.
Oh, they'll be live. We'll be doing a live stream soon. I know I've been promising this to the people, and I will be there, and I will answer your troll comments with troll responses. Just know.
Luke Cornett or Giannis, who you taking? That's gonna be the comments.
Luke Cornett.
All right,
Luke Cornett all day. I'll take 5 Luke Cornets over any team in the NBA.
All right, before we head out of here, let's predict the next 5 games. So, San Antonio, New Year's, who you got? In San Antonio, could be a trap game, should be fully rested. I got Celtics.
Yeah, I got Celtics. Okay. That team sucks.
2 days later, we go over to Oklahoma City and play on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, who
he's kind of nice.
Rookie of the year right now. You got Jalen Williams,
the Ben Simmons Award.
Josh Giddey, OKC's good.
Nice.
They're good.
Shit, I really don't think they're gonna go undefeated on this run. They've won 5 games. I don't know how many more games they're gonna win in a row. I'll call that one a loss. They're on the road, right?
They're on the road in Oklahoma City. The Thunder are currently the 2 seed out west at 21-9.
What's the date? What's the date on that game?
January 2nd.
Oh, they're losing that game. These boys are going out in the first. They're having a nice time. Then it'll be a little rough on the second. I'll schedule that as an L. So W, win-loss.
I'm gonna say, dude, I don't know. I feel like we're so good right now. It's gonna depend on the injury. I'm gonna say we're gonna win. I'm gonna say we're gonna win this game.
Okay.
If But only if we're healthy. If we're resting Kristaps, no, but listen, if we're resting Kristaps or resting Jason Tatum, then it's a change, okay?
One of these boys coming down with a stomach bug on the second. They went too ham. They went too ham on the first. And listen, I can't blame them, man. We look at the record, so I'll call that a loss.
Okay, well if that's the case,
so
we might lose.
Snap a 6-game. They'll win next game. They'll snap a 6-game losing streak. Get right back on the win column. Go ahead, next game.
I'm gonna say win, and then Utah. That's a win at home.
Win.
That's to keep the streak
win.
alive. And then we got Indiana back-to-back games in Indiana.
They circle that one on the schedule. Go ahead and clap them.
Because
next
we
game.
lost to them in the fucking in-season tournament.
Yeah.
It's coming back, man. It's coming back. They're jealous. They wanted that.
Yeah. Circle that. Go ahead. Yeah. Win your stupid half-season trophy and nobody gives a shit about. But yeah, they'll go ahead and they'll spank them in that game.
Okay, so I'm gonna go win-lose. We split Indiana. I'm gonna go 4-1 over the next 5.
Same 4-1. It's just
4-1.
The games are different.
Yeah.
I got them going down to OKC.
Okay, so listen, what do you guys think? Comment down below. Do you think the Celtics end this, four-game road trip? Actually, they got 2 road trip games back home and then 2 away again. What do you think the record is going to be after these 5 games? Comment down below. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. The Celtics lost 2 games in December. How many games do they lose in January? Comment down below what you think.
As many as the Pistons.
As many as the Pistons? That's not good, Ricky. That is not good. Don't speak that to existence.
I'm just kidding.
Dude, by the time our next podcast hits, we're gonna be fucking 25 and 25.
Listen, if that shit does happen, I'll have to sign myself off this podcast because I'll never live it down.
We're gonna call this the Luke Cornett show.
Yeah, when's he coming on, Fubs?
Hey, I'm gonna hit him up. I'm gonna hit up his agent. We're gonna get him on the show, and I'm not gonna be here. It's just gonna be Ricky and Luke Cornett talking about their differences.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, "Oh, who are you? I don't know who you are. Why do you talk so much shit about my game?"
That would be funny. All right, guys, comment down below, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Bleed Green Pod. But more importantly, we'll be here in the next couple of days for the Bleed Green post-game show. So stick around, join the family.
Post-game is back.
Yep, and we'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.